Welcome back to the MMA Business Hour, everyone. And in today's episode, I want to break down the fight between Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley for the Bantamweight title this weekend at UFC 292. Don't forget, guys, I'm giving away a Colby Covington autograph photo authenticated by JSA. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, write the word subscribe in the comments, and if we get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, you'll be entered to win the photo. Alright, let's break this fight down. One of the first things I did in breaking down this fight between SUGA Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling was look at who these guys have fought. What is their strength of schedule? When you look at Sean O'Malley's record, the guys he have fought besides Peter Yan, and even Peter Yan, if you look at his record over the last 2 years, he's underperformed. He's had a lot of close fights, but he is not the dominant guy he once was back when he beat the brakes off of Jose Aldo or whatever. Lost to Aljo because of the knee, then he beat Corey Sandhagen in a very close fight, and then he lost to Aljo, he lost to Sean O'Malley, and he lost to Merab. Alright, so let's go look at all the other fighters Sean O'Malley has fought over the years. Alright guys, first we're going to start with Rulian Paiva. If you look at his record, 21-5 is not too bad, but he's lost his two last fights, and he won a majority decision over Kyler Phillips. He's 3-4 in the UFC. I mean, he's not a super elite fighter by any stretch of the imagination. And then a last-minute replacement was Chris Montinho. He's 11-6. He's not even in the UFC anymore. I mean, this guy's Bush. 0-2 in the UFC. He got cut, and he's not even in the UFC anymore. All right, let's go down the line to Thomas Alameda. 22-5. But then you look, he's 5-5 in the UFC, a 500 fighter. He lost to O'Malley, Jonathan Martinez, Rob Font, Jamie Rivera. He hasn't won a fight in the UFC or at all since 2016. This is the type of guys that Sean O'Malley's been fighting. And then he lost to Marlon Vera from the perennial nerve kick. And then let's look at Eddie Weiland. 6-10 in the UFC. He's been so bad. He has won 1 out of his last 6 fights. I mean, he's fought a bunch of cans. Straight bums. Absolute bums. Let's take a look at the record of champion Aljamain Sterling. He's 15-3 in the UFC. The step up in competition is extraordinary, man. Look at these wins. Peter Yan, TJ Dillashaw, Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan, choked out Corey Sandhagen. He beat Munoz. He beat Jamie Rivera. He beat Cody Stamann. He beat Brett Johns. I mean, he's been on an absolute tear. He did catch that knee up the middle against Marlon Moraes. So if there is a way for Sean O'Malley to win this fight, it's going to be catching Aljamain Sterling on the entry for a takedown. But the strength of schedule, it's two totally different dimensions, guys. I think Aljamain Sterling is going to win this fight. I think in the first round, he's going to take him down. He's going to get his back, and he's going to choke him out and end the fight. I don't think it goes past 1 round. Because if you look back at the Peter Yan fight, he got taken down a lot in that fight. Next, guys, I want to break down some of the film from the Peter Yan-Sean O'Malley fight and show you why that Aljamain Sterling is going to easily secure takedowns, and I think he's going to finish Sean O'Malley a lot quicker than people think. Alright everybody, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us get in the algorithm and get this video out to a lot more UFC fans. So what I want to do is I want to break down some images from the tape of the Peter Yan-Sean O'Malley fight and show you some of the tendencies Sean has that's not going to go well for him in this fight. Alright, the first one is this isn't the first 2 minutes of the fight. Peter Yan already has Sean O'Malley's back, but he did a really good job defending, getting his back towards the fence and working his way out of that back take. But, man, if Aljo gets your back in the first 2 minutes of the fight when you're not sweaty at all, man, it's going to be tough sledding for him. But then watch. Once they break from this takedown, Sean O'Malley got back to the center of the octagon, but he kept getting pressed backwards, excuse me. So what Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling are going to do to him is press him. Because if you press guys against the fence, they don't have anywhere to go. And see how where Sean O'Malley is and his back is almost against the fence? There's nowhere for you to sprawl. That's a really bad habit that Sean O'Malley has, is fighting against the fence. Because he can't sprawl. He can't shoot his hips out and get away from a single leg or a double leg. Because Aljo likes to go to a single leg, work to a double leg, lock the hands behind the butt, and get the takedown. And watch what happens. Boom. He goes in for the takedown, right? He's almost already got the hands locked, but what Sean O'Malley's mistake is, look, he's going for an overhook. You see that right hand? It's over the top of Petr Yan. What he needs to do is get under that with both arms so that Petr Yan cannot get his hands locked. If you do only one hand, especially with an overhook, Yan or Sterling, what's going to happen is he's going to lock his hands super early. And then when that happens, this happens. You go for a ride. And if Petr Yan, who is smaller, not as strong, and not even close to as good as a wrestler as Aljamain Sterling, was so easily able to get these takedowns early in the fight, what do you think Aljo's going to do, guys? Come on. Come on. Aljo is going to dominate this dude. Unless Sean O'Malley lands some crazy-ass shot, this is exactly what's going to happen to Sean O'Malley in this fight against Aljamain Sterling. He's going to go in for the shot. He makes little mistakes, especially when you're against the cage. Hey, when you're against the cage, you can't sprawl. You're a sitting duck for the takedown. And then when you do engage and take down the fence, he's going for the overhooks because he's too late in stuffing the shot. And if you're late, your only choice is to really go for the overhook or dig underhooks. And he did both things wrong. He was late with the sprawl, so he had to do the overhook. And then he didn't switch to the underhook and try to dig in to try to separate those hands. And that's why he went for a ride. And then bang, he's on his back against the fence. There's not a lot of places for you to go. And Sean O'Malley is a little bit of a cheater on the ground. He goes to grab the gloves. He grabbed the fence multiple times in that Petr Yan fight, and he was still able to get these takedowns. And he's a sitting duck. Petr Yan's ground and pound is okay. Sterling's is a lot better, man, for sure. And then this is later in the fight, another back take in the center of the octagon. So what happened in this exchange, Sean O'Malley cracks Petr Yan, hurts him. He gets a little overzealous, and then bang, Petr Yan returned with another big shot, and this stumbled him. And then he was able to get the takedown, and look, he's got his back. If Aljamain Sterling is in this position at any time in the fight's over. It's a wrap. Aljamain Sterling's going to take your back, choke you out, and then lights out for Sean O'Malley. He's going to take a nap. I'm going with a first or second round stoppage. There's actually a great bet. I got Aljamain Sterling at plus 125 to end the fight within distance. So I'm going with Aljamain Sterling to win this fight over Sean O'Malley for all these reasons. And he's just a better fighter. He's fought better competition. It's going to be a really tough night at the office for Sean O'Malley. He's got a few shots. If he can dance around, crack him, hurt him, maybe he can get a finish or land one of those knees up the middle like Marlon Moraes did. That's his only real shot. But I think 95 out of 100 times Aljamain Sterling wins this fight. Thanks so much for tuning into the MMA Business Hour, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments below. Who do you think is going to win this fight?